Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nisha Charachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalayas Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamuddhara. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Hari Om everyone. Hope all of you are getting a chance to listen to Pujya Gurudev's lecture in the morning. So inspiring and a very unique experience for those who are listening to Gurudev for the first time or are listening to him after a long time. One of the things Gurudev mentioned this morning about how a good teacher is, that how the teacher comes down to the level of the student and then brings that student up to see what the teacher is seeing right now. And you see exactly what Bhagavan Krishna is doing here, being one of the greatest, the bestest teacher. He tried 1, 2, and 3 level of advice from Atma standpoint, from Jiva standpoint, from Deha standpoint. Still nothing happened. So now he is talking very, very practical terms, which hits Arjuna very straight. He says, you consider yourself as a Kshatriya. That is something Arjuna was very proud of. He says, even from that standpoint, running away is not appropriate. Swadharmam api chaveksha na vikampitum arhasi. This was the verse we had seen last time. What is Swadharma? We saw elaborately how Swabhava and Karma, our own tendencies, Swabhava, and our karmas from the past, both of them contribute towards finding our Swadharma. The karmas that we have done in the past, they will present situations in our life. The Swabhava that we have gathered over the past, that will decide what is my taste of today. And according to that, if I find some work, then I can exhaust those vasanas. I can feel more content and also have a very fulfilling experience while doing that work. And then we saw different varnashrama, which is there, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. What is the idea behind it? According to Vedanta, thinking ourselves to be Brahmana is equally an erroneous notion as thinking ourselves to be anything else. Thinking that I am Brahmana is equally erroneous as thinking I am Kshatriya, is equally as erroneous as thinking I am Vaishya or Shudra. Vedanta wants to say you are Brahma. Now, for me to be ready to digest this teaching, taking on certain roles and identities will be very helpful. And these are identities which are unavoidable. No matter where we are, we have taken up some role or the other. Right? As an employee, we have one role. As a mother, we have one role. Happy Mother's Day, by the way. As a father, we might have one role. So different roles we might have taken. So moment we are born in this world, it is as though this varnashramas are tagged along with this birth. And purpose of our life is not only to change from one varna to another varna, or try to see that other varna is better than the varna which I am in right now. Purpose of life is to stay where we are, play out our inner tendencies, develop sadguna, and come to know that you are Brahma. Our Kabir Dashi was a weaver. He never complained, or he said that, what I am doing is not what I am interested in, or I want to, become somebody else. Say, no, whichever work we are doing, that itself is the doorway for us to cleanse our mind and to reach the Supreme. Janak Maharaj was a Kshatriya. He did not say, I have to become a Brahmana first and then only I will get Brahma Vidya. What we need is Sadhana Chatushtaya. It will come in either of the Varnas, but staying there as our mind gets purified, as our previous tendencies, they become mellower, he says that same place will lead us to the next step of Brahma Vidya. Okay, so all these points we should keep reflecting, and most importantly, get clarity for ourselves. Right? What is this Varnashrama Dharma, and how it helps us identify our right fit, in terms of profession, society, or whatever. And another thing Bhagavan is saying is that the glory of Swadharma is such that every situation that comes in our life comes with a purpose. There is nothing called as randomness. There is a purpose for which a particular situation has come. And if I run away from it, he says that situation could have been a very great avenue for me to grow. And because I ran away, I have lost that opportunity. He says that is the glory of doing our Swadharma, that whatever situations have come, the one who is sending those situations is our Bhagavan. And if he has sent it, he also gives us the ability to face it. Although I might not have that faith in my ability, if I can invoke Bhagavan's grace, for that, or if we have some well-wisher who can help us invoke those abilities in us, just like Arjuna had Bhagavan Krishna, our Hanumanji had Jambavanji. What did Jambavanji do? He himself did not go and bring Sitaji or anything. All that he did was reminded Hanumanji of his strength. He said, your avatar is for Ramakaja. Why are you sitting there so quietly? If there is anybody in this team who can do that work, that is you, Hanumanji. So we also keep getting many situations, many circumstances. Sometimes our career might be in a place where we don't have that much of, interest to begin with. So there it is said, understand everything has happened for a purpose. We just have to wait and watch that play unfold. So this is where we had discussed that between Swabhava and Karma, right? Both things are contributing towards Swadharma. Swabhava means my tendencies, my personality, today. And Karma means the actions I've done in the past, they are presenting themselves as Karma Phala today. Out of these two, I don't have choice over my past karmas. Whatever I have done in the past, they will balat means with force, without any option, choicelessly they will give results. And sometimes I will feel helpless that I don't want to go here, but still I'm made to go there. Yes, that is how life is. And nobody else is responsible. We ourselves have made that thing for us. So then what should I do? I can spend my time there grumbling and just complaining about everything. That is one option. But another option is you can change your swabhava. If our attitude in that same work becomes of a karma yogi, what Bhagwan will elaborate right now, he says you will find a new meaning in that work. We will find new meaning in the people with whom we are working. Only these two things, actually speaking, what matter in any work. One is the work itself, and the second is the people with whom we work. In both these things, if we can have a different attitude, so Bhagwan says, your life there will be cheerful. And then if you get a chance, you can always, shift to something which you really like. But we have to see for our lives and see whether we get every time everything that we like. Answer is no. And if it is no, then we should know how to deal with it. Okay, so this was about Swadharma. Now Bhagwan is telling a little bit more about what is this, in particular, the situation that has come in front of you, O Arjuna. What is its nature? 32nd verse. Yadruchaya chopapannam swargadvaramapavrutam sukhina kshatriyah partha labhante yuddhamidrusham yadruchaya chopapannam swargadvaramapavrutam sukhina kshatriyah partha labhante yuddhamidrusham. This is our story actually. Yadruchaya chopapannam. Bhagwan is telling Arjuna, this war has come to you unasked. It is not that you are eager to fight against Duryodhana and everybody else. You have done exactly what was signed in the contract. When the game of dice happened, they said 12 plus 1 years, you have completed that term. Even after that, Duryodhana was not willing. He said, not even tip of a needle, that much of land I will give you. So after all of this, the only option that you had was this Dharma Yuddha. Means from your side, you have tried your best, right, to avoid this. So many times you have gone, messengers have been sent. So it is Yadruchaya cha upapannam. It is not because of your desire this has come. It has come on its own accord. Swargadvaram apavrutam. And the glory of this particular action is, this particular duty of yours, Swadharma, is that it will open the doors of Swarga. Either you can enter it yourself, or you can just see others entering it. Others entering meaning all other warriors who are there, they are very clear in this understanding that if I do my duty well, I don't have to worry about what is going to happen hereafter. Because Shastra says, Bhagwan himself is saying, for a Kshatriya, the duty is to protect Dharma, to protect their kingdom, and in that, whatever they are doing, he said that is a righteous thing. So Swargadvaram apavrutam. And what was Arjuna's understanding? He said, if you fight the war, I will get papam. And Bhagwan is saying, if you don't fight, then you will get sin. Sukhina kshatriyah partha. Those warriors who really have this clarity of thinking, they consider themselves to be fortunate to be a part of this. I mean, they say we have learnt all the Shastra Vidya, not Shastra Vidya, Shastra Vidya. Shastra Vidya means, bow and arrow, archery, everything they have learnt. You say, why did we learn it for? So that we can use it for the righteous cause. Now, who considers what as righteous, that is different matter. He said that will deal separately. But at least if you have that vritti, of being a warrior, he said those who have this vritti, they consider themselves fortunate to be a part of this. Okay, Sukhina Kshatriya Partha Labhante Yuddham Idrusham. Such kind of war, if somebody is part of it, then they consider themselves to be fortunate. Now again and again we should remember, Bhagwan Shankaracharya also has written that this advice to Arjuna would be in the context of the current setting that he is in right now. But we should remember, we are all Sudhihi Bhokta. Arjuna is the calf. Partho Vatsaha Sudhihi Bhokta. Means we should take this and apply it in our life and see what is the message for us. We also get so many projects which is Yadruchaya Chopapannam. Yadruchaya Upapannam it is. Not out of our own accord. It comes by its own accord. Right? Because somebody saw, us to be fit for something, some work will be given. But if you are part of that, system, if you have taken up that duty, then Bhagwan is saying, do it with Karma Yoga Buddhi. What is that Buddhi? He will explain. But right now, all he is telling us is, let us not run away. Okay, and I'm sure many projects do come that way, which are unasked, not our favorite. But what we should remember there is, the one who is sending is Bhagwan. And if he has sent it, he will give me the ability and the resources also to accomplish that thing. With that bhavana, if we go, then it's a joy to see how things fall in place. How the right people come, and how they contribute. And sometimes after that work is done, you are on your way, they are on their way. And you wonder, how did this person come, in my life, in this particular work? We say this creation has a creator, and he has not gone to sleep after, bringing out this creation. He is also taking care of it right now. So with that bhava, we should be very enthusiastic about whatever we are doing. Now Bhagwan is elaborating what are the shortcomings, what are the problems in dropping Swadharma. If I don't do my Swadharma, then what will happen? 33rd verse. Atha chettvamimam dharmyam Sangramam na karishyasi tataswadharmam kirtim cha hitva papamavapsyasi atha chettvamimam dharmyam Sangramam na karishyasi tataswadharmam kirtim cha hitva papamavapsyasi. If you don't fight this righteous war, atha tvam imam sangramam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi. If you don't do this righteous war, if you don't participate in this, or if you just run away, then he says 3 things will happen. First one is, nobody will approve your dropping of Swadharma. That is the first thing. Even in the world we see, if there is somebody who is expected to do something and that person is shying away from it out of fear, out of whatever reason, then even in the world, people don't appreciate such a thing. For example, a politician who is afraid of campaigning. He says, how can I go and speak about myself, my party, and this and that? And then he doesn't say anything. See, people will not appreciate such a thing. Having taken the role of a politician, your Swadharma becomes to campaign. Either you drop both of it, or you hold on to both of it. The role that you have taken and the expectation or the duty that comes with that role. And whoever cuts corners, right, in their own profession, in their own work, for whatever reason, even they cannot sustain too long. But if you see somebody who is doing their best in whatever they have been given, even if they are not able to meet the goal that they have set for themselves, if somebody is striving very hard, that person is appreciated or respected much more than somebody else, who has just left and then gone away. One of my interests is in, not after Vedanta, not before Vedanta, is in politics. And I feel we get to learn many things from politicians. I understand more of Indian politics. That is where my interest was, and even now a little bit is. It has reduced drastically. One thing, there are so many things we can learn. One thing we definitely learn from them is how to handle criticism. When so much of criticism is coming their way, if it was any ordinary person, they could not sleep at night. But you look at their, toughness, which is there, able to handle each and every criticism that comes and to keep doing their work, whatever they are doing, with so much of, sincerity. And I saw one sentence by one politician. I like to stay away from names, but we should take the message. That politician said, you should be loyal to your profession. Means whichever work you have taken, be loyal to it. Means what? If I have taken some work, making sure that I see the end of that project which I have taken in hand. And in between, if I drop it and run away, because somebody said something, some situation came here, some there, and no project they take are without problems. Anything you touch, so many people are there to object, so many people are there to give an opposing view. So being able to navigate through all of that and make sure that you reach, a destination by which you are satisfied. Other people might have different opinions of how this performance was of this particular politician and so on. But he said, at least to your satisfaction, you should have done your best. Then I remembered this verse, that Swadharma, if somebody is able to do their best, invoking Bhagwan's grace, keeping him in mind, you see, that is very, very, very much appreciable. But if you don't do it, what will happen? Second thing Bhagwan says, your kirti will go away. Kirti means that fame that you have gathered, that good name that you have gathered for so long. He said that will go away if you drop your Swadharma. First thing is, nobody approves it, dropping your Swadharma. Second is, little bit of good name, or sometimes even lot of good name that you have gathered, that will go away. And this kirti is something, the measure in which we have good name, if something wrong happens, something goes here and there, to that equal measure we get a bad name. Sometimes, I wonder, if you hear the name Yudhishthira, so much of dharmic life he lived, he was synonymous with truth. Means if Yudhishthira says something, it has to be true. In his entire life, probably he uttered one sentence, that too in a doubtful way. Narova Kunjarova Ashwathama Hataha. Only this much he said. Ashwathama is dead. I don't know if it is a human or an elephant. He said it in a doubtful way. So not a full lie, a very mellowed down version of a untruthful statement. But you see the amount of ill fame that comes their way. Means people, if they want to remember Yudhishthira, many times they remember only that sentence. So Bhagavan is telling Arjuna that your kirti is so big, so great, that even small children know you as a great warrior. So if you run away, then that apakirti which will come, right, that will be also great. I mean, just like if there is a very good singer, right, very accomplished singer, and they are giving a performance, and they have some apashruti that happens, in their, while taking the alap or something, they go here and there a little bit out of raga. Then other people wonder, such a great singer, how did, apashruti come, or how did they go offbeat? If somebody is not, a singer, like when we sing, there is nothing called as apashruti, because every 2 minutes we go out of shruti. Every other beat we miss. So nobody minds it, it is okay. But if somebody is an accomplished singer, then that apakirti hits even more. So Bhagavan says that is the second thing which will happen. People won't approve and your kirti will go away. And then third thing what will happen is papam avapsasi. You will end up safeguarding your tendency to commit sin. The power of this situation was that if you had used this situation, done your swadharma, the result of that would have been what you study in the first shloka of Atma Bodha. Tapo bihi kshina papana. Means your tendency to commit sin, that pressure of vasanas would have gone down. That papa vritti would have become kshina. Kshina means reduced. And this we see in ourselves whenever we are positively occupied, whenever we are busy throughout the day, right? Negative thoughts don't bother us as much. Mind doesn't go here and there too much because you have a very set schedule that you have to do this, this, and this. Although it looks like very, packed day or a very hectic schedule, but what it has actually done is it has kept our mind positively occupied. And that is why that phrase is there, I think. Empty mind is a devil's workshop. Idle mind is a devil's workshop. So Bhagavan is saying, if you are, fully involved, absorbed in our swadharma, then this papa vritti which is there, tendency to commit sin, that will go down. And if you drop your swadharma, then that vritti will remain inside. You might still go and learn the higher knowledge. Advaita Jnanam, we might go and listen to it, but we will have the same question that I don't see result of this knowledge in my life. One example all of you must be familiar with, you have a bag of sand and at the bottom you have holes. And you say, oh, the sand is leaking, and you try to hold the top very tightly. Oh, sand is leaking, I should not allow it to leak. It's a problem is not there, problem is down. In the same way, when we study Vedanta, when we study Brahma Vidya, if our papa vasanas or the pressure of vasanas to go back to our old ways, if they are very strong, then on one hand I am studying Brahma Vidya also, but on the other hand, I am again and again going back in the world for Sukham. This is both you will find they are in opposite directions. But on the other hand, if my tendency to go outside, my sense organs are not as much as extrovert, tendency to commit sin has gone down, that mind, which is an introvert mind, can appreciate this teaching even more. Vedantic ideas will keep coming in our mind and they will guide our vyavahara. Now what is happening? Vedanta ideas are there to appreciate, but what guides my vyavahara is my own vasanas. And then I justify to say that this Swadharma I don't want to do because I want to go and study something higher. So it is a very sequential path, purifying ourselves through this karma yoga. And Bhagavan says this quality of yours will help you in jnana nishtha. Jnana nishtha means what? Abiding in this knowledge. So when clear knowledge takes place, nature of world is known to be mithya or nothing other than Brahma, either way you put it. Being able to abide in this fact thoroughly, that will come through our tendency of committing sin when it goes down. That will help in jnana nishtha. So with this, Bhagavan says, this is not the end. There are some more things that are going to happen. What are they? 34th verse. Akirtim chapi bhutani, akirtim chapi bhutani, kathayishyanti te vyayam, kathayishyanti te vyayam, sambhavitasya cha kirtihi, sambhavitasya cha kirtihi, maranadatirichyate, maranadatirichyate, akirtim chapi bhutani, kathayishyanti te vyayam, sambhavitasya cha kirtihi, maranadatirichyate. Arjuna, if you fight the war, there is a chance that you will win or there is a chance that you will be defeated. Means the matter will be closed after the war is done. But if you run away, then you will have to live your life with this guilt or this bad name, akirti, that is going to come your way. Akirtim chapi bhutani kathayishyanti te avyayam. Everybody will speak of your akirti, not for a short time. I mean, they won't forget, after a short time, it will be written in the pages of history. And there was a great warrior called as Arjuna. And then he went to fight the war. But when he saw everybody, all that warrior titles that he got, all the astra shastra that he gathered, nothing was of use. They will give, in Vedanta it is called as Vyatireka Drishtanta. Means you give the opposite. Means you give the example, but you want to understand the opposite of it. Means they will say, you see Arjuna, you should not be like Arjuna. Right? Because you see what he did after everything, when the final, time came that he was about to serve, he ran away. So like this, your example will be given, not in short time, long, time even from now, long time ahead from now, people will say such things. Now Arjuna understands this language very well. Because for a Kshatriya, that mana is very, very, crucial, especially when it comes to their virata. Their valor, if somebody questions it, they don't like it. I think I mentioned this in some class before, that Dhruva, when he does tapasya, right, his stepmother tells him that, right now you cannot play on your father's lap. You have to go and be born as my son, then only you can sit on his lap. His mother was very understanding. She said, out of those two things that she said, one thing is true. Which means, what is that thing? That you should go and do tapasya. Okay, if you do tapasya, Bhagavan will be pleased with you and he will bless you. That much she said. And Dhruva took it so much to heart, and he starts walking away to the forest. And Naradji comes there, and he tells Dhruva, "You are a 5-year-old boy. What is mana and apamana for you?" But Dhruva says, "I am a Kshatriya. And for me, my apamana is something which I cannot bear. I will go and do that tapas, and I will get that Dhruva pada, which I'm looking for." So then Naradji says, "Aho tejam kshatriyana." Look at this teja of the Kshatriya. His quality is so predominant that it just reflects, in his personality. So that was Arjuna. So Bhagwan is pressing the right nerve now again. He says, "Akirtim chapi bhutani kathayishyanti te avyayam sambhavitasya cha akirtihi maranat atirichyate." Arjuna, it is better to give up this body than to live constantly in this ill fame. Right? This ill fame is something that you won't be able to handle. And this honor that you have received is with so much of effort, so much of hard work, and this one ill fame is sufficient to bring everything down. So now Bhagwan is pointing out, I just made a general statement, right? People will speak ill about you. There are two types of people who in particular will say many things. One group are the Maharathis who are there, the warriors of your stature, the great warriors like Karna, other people who are there in your enemy's army. They are the first people who will say something. And the second are the ordinary soldiers who are there. They will also say some things. What they will say? 35th and 36th verse. Bhagavan is explaining. Both we will chant together. Bhayadranadu paratam mansyante tvam maharathaha mansyante tvam maharathaha yesham chatvam bahumatah bhutva yasyasi laghavam avachavadanshcha bahun vadishyanti tavahitaha nindantastava samarthyam tato dukkataram nukim bhayadranadu paratam mansyante tvam maharathaha yesham chatvam bahumatah bhutva yasyasi laghavam avachavadanshcha bahun vadishyanti tavahitaha nindantastava samarthyam tato dukkatarannukim. First people who will talk ill about you are Maharathis. Bhayadranat uparatam. They will say Arjuna ran away because of fear. They are not as kind as Sanjaya. What did Sanjaya say? Tam tatha krupaya vishtam. That Arjuna was overpowered by krupa. Out of pity, he is saying these words. These Maharathis are not like that. They are very thorough in their profession. They will say, Arjuna, what all things he did, fought with Lord Shiva, everything is okay. But this simple, war he had to fight, and he got afraid. Bhayadranat uparatam mansyante tvam maharatha. And yesham chatvam bahumata. They will say, bahumata means not majority. Bahumata means bahubihi gunaihi yuktah, one who was endowed with lot of good qualities. Bhutva yasyasi laghavam, they will talk very low about you. In spite of being endowed with all these good qualities, they will say, still he ran out of fear. What is the point in having all those things? Right? So other people will speak about you in this way. Then he says, avacha vadanscha bahun. And then there are other, the soldiers and everybody, they will say things which you would never like to hear. Because they are not very polished, right, in how they would express themselves. They will just be saying whatever, they want to cook, whatever they want to make up. Gurudev is to, make this into a very humorous portion and say, they would say, right when Arjuna saw my, my sword and this shield that I was holding, my horse came in front. Right from that point, he started saying, Vyapatuscha sharire me, and all my bow is slipping down and everything. Somebody would say, my mustache, the moment I did this, moment I took my hand over it, that time only Arjuna started feeling afraid. So they will make their own, comments, and they will start talking about you in this way. Vadishyanti tava ahitaha. And they will question your samarthya. Nindantas tava samarthyam, that samarthya by which you had done so many feats. It is said once Arjuna's horses were tired. And Bhagavan Krishna said, Arjuna, we can't go any forward now. We can't go any further because horses are tired. You bring water for them. So Arjuna said, in Kurukshetra battlefield, where can I get water for horses right now? Bhagavan Krishna said, I don't know. You have to figure out. So Arjuna had taken his arrows and created, first a boundary, and out of that he, hit the ground, and it is said from ground he could bring water out. Then Bhagwan bathed all the horses, and then they drank some water, and then they went ahead. His samarthya, if you want to understand, there are so many instances in Mahabharata. But now Bhagwan is telling people will question that samarthya and they will criticize it. What is the point in having all of that? When you actually need your skill, there you are not using it, right? So this we see many times also. Many people are good at things except for when they have to really do that thing, right? Either it is speaking or so many other skills that we have. Either will be very good in advising or will be just good in analyzing it after things are done. But you go and do that thing. You say, no, I don't want to do that. You say that ninda they will do. Nindantas tava samarthyam. What is the point in having all those skills and resources if you cannot use it in the right place at the right time? Now you tell me, Arjuna, tato dukkhataram nukyam. Won't that be, something that you will be very sad about? Dukkhatara, the highest sorrow that is going to come. He said it will be of that type. Nindantastav samarthyam tato dukkhatharam nukyam. Now Bhagwan is going to talk about some other, aspects of this Swadharma and Karma Yoga. What he's going to do is, he'll give a completely different perspective to what Arjuna is seeing. Arjuna might have seen things in one way. Bhagwan is telling there is a different way to look at that same thing. So what is that? That we will see in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. You had mentioned if one does their Swadharma and does it well, they'll be taken care of hereafter. However, if one takes up one's duty but is unable to do it, does it still mean it is worth doing it? Or if that person is unsuccessful, does it still mean it's worth doing it? Because one might not have all capabilities for all jobs that come one's way. The Adhyatmic answer, the spiritual insight into this particular question is finishing a work or being successful in that work by itself is not the end goal. The best example that our Guruji gives for this particular point is that of Jatayuji and Ravana. Ravana had set a goal of taking Sitaji away. And he executed his plan, did everything, was very successful. Jatayuji had an intention, had this desire of saving Mother Sita. He had a desire of fighting with Ravana and saving Mother Sita. And he was unsuccessful. He lost his wings, he fell on the ground, bruised very badly. But if you see or ask the question, who was successful? Was it Jatayuji or was it Ravana? We say one who was successful is Jatayuji only. So the measure of success in any work is the purity of heart, purity of mind that it has given us. The calmness of mind that it has given us, the values that it has brought in our life through that work. If somebody is working with a team and we say after that, work is done. If somebody says, do you want to do it again? And I say, no, not at all. That means I have to reevaluate my motivation while doing work. I have to reevaluate whether I'm having too strong raga dvesha somewhere. Versus somebody who might not have been very successful in what they're doing, or I should tweak that sentence, has not been very successful yet in what they're doing, but they say, I thoroughly enjoyed what I was doing and I saw my Bhagwan in all of them. And while I was doing, I remembered my Bhagwan. And I had this, emotion in my heart. I had this bhavana in my heart that I am doing this for him. Now that work, which was successful in the eyes of the world, and this work, which is not successful yet in the eyes of the world, he says the second work is much better than the first one. Because it has nourished the heart, evolution has happened in that sadhaka now. And as far as resources are concerned, they will come. Right? Because somebody who is working hard, somebody who is working selflessly, it is very rare for such a person not to succeed. And this assurance I'm not giving. Bhagavan Krishna only gives in Bhagavad Gita. When that verse comes, we will see. He says you don't have choice over what result we are going to get. But you have full choice over with what attitude we are working and how sincerely we are working. That will decide, the end result. And if work is of good quality, work is done with lot of shraddha, lot of perseverance is there, the result is taken care of. We might not see it immediately. That is why I added the word looks unsuccessful as of now. or it looks that I have not reached my goal yet, which is okay, right? Because it's not a short-term result that we are going to see. And many of those who are into startups, they share this with me, that whenever things don't go the way they want, later on you see back and you realize it happened for a reason, but most importantly, it has taught me something. That is, a vyavaharik way of looking at it. But if you look at it from an adhyatmic standpoint, what matters is not what I have done to the work, but what did that work do to me? I might have done the work very efficiently, but developed so much of raga dvesha with people, developed mental agitation while doing that work, insistence on having the result in the way that I want. That is good. We all start our journey in this way. But when this teaching of Bhagavad Gita starts to sink in, Bhagavan Krishna is telling all of us that later the attitude should be, what has this work done to me? How has it taught me the glory of Bhagavan? Right? Okay. How can we understand free will in the context of Swabhava and Swadharma? So that this is the point we discussed in the beginning of the class today, that whenever we say Swadharma, it is related to Swabhava, means our tendencies, the gunas that we have, right? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, whatever we have built for ourselves, we all have some personality, right? So that is our Swabhava. And second one is my previous karma. Our situations in life come based purely upon our past karma. So that thing, in Swabhava, I have a lot of choice. I have choice in changing my personality, changing my outlook, but I don't have too much choice in changing my karma phala. Sometimes karma phala, if it is too predominant, then we realize no matter how hard I try, I cannot change my situation. Right? If I'm supposed to go into some company or some line of study, things happen in life in such a way that you don't have choices. You applied for 5 schools, you will get only in one. What you will do? You have to go there, right? You wanted to apply for 5 different companies, you got only in one. And when we feel that our choices are not being met, I feel it just means that somebody else is making choices for us. And he is none other than Bhagavan. He knows what is the right thing at the right time. So stay where we are, right? And then see how that thing unfolds. Okay, so we'll pause here. And then if there is any other thing, we can take it next time. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.